If you want to learn how to make these tassel earrings, stay tuned. In the meantime, hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, hit the notification bell. Otherwise, you're not gonna be notified when I put out a new video. Okay, these are the supplies you're gonna need. First, you're gonna need a good bit of seed beads. And this is what seed beads should look like. They're very tiny and hard to string on to anything. So that's why we're gonna need to be using our little handy dandy bead spinner. I'm gonna show you how to work this awesome contraption. That's the right word. Next, you're gonna need some 26 gauge aluminum wire, just a little bit. You're gonna need, instead of using aluminum, we're gonna use brass, and I think this is 16 gauge and it's very strong. I'm also going to use 4 skeins of the same color of embroidery thread. I use all the same color, but you can mix and match if you'd like. You're gonna need your pliers and a pair of scissors. So let's get started. So we're gonna start with the first part of our earrings. We're gonna start with the triangle part. We're gonna take our 16 gauge brass and we're gonna start stretching that out and straightening it out. We're gonna start at the post part. And so at that point, we're just going to, basically I just eyed it up as to how long I think I wanted to have a post, and then I just bent it. And this is what it should look like. And from this point, I just eyed it up. I didn't use any measurements or anything, and I just started to make my little triangle. And of course, I'm going to use this first one as my template for my second one. And it should look like this, not too big and not too small. Take your flat pliers and grab your triangle evenly like this. And then from this point, you're going to bend it over and just start wrapping it around the top of your triangle. Be careful not to loop it too many times because we don't want too many loops at the top of our triangle. I stuck to like 2 or 3 loops. And once I got done, I used those same pliers to like squish it down so that it's not sticking up. Grab yourself a pair of cutters and just cut off that end there. And at the top here, I'm gonna link my top 10 things I wish I knew about wire wrapping before I started. Yes, it's a long title. On how to properly cut your ends without putting your eye out. Once you cut that, get your pliers out and start swishing down those ends. Now it should start to look like this. Now repeat that for the next earring. Now that you have your 2 earrings, you're gonna grab your 26 gauge wire. Now you're gonna take that and you're going to cut yourself a little piece. It doesn't have to be long. Now once you have your piece, you're gonna take your round nose pliers and you're gonna create a little loop at the end. It's gonna be a tiny little loop and it'll look like this. Now this other end is gonna serve as a little needle, and I'll show you why later. Right now, we're gonna take our bead spinner and then we're gonna take our little pile of beads and we're gonna start to fill that spinner up very carefully. Once it's full, you're going to spin it for no apparent reason. Okay, moving on. So now you're going to take your needle end of your 26 gauge wire. You're going to straighten that out, kind of give it a little bit of a curve at the end because that's going to help you to pick up the beads, and I'll show you why. Now pay attention to which way you're going to spin this bead spinner. Now if you're spinning it in this direction right here, you're going to be swooping your needle in the opposite direction. You're swooping towards the spin is basically how I can explain it. And you're going to skim it along the top of the pile of beads as you go. You don't want to dig the needle in there because it's going to make all the beads spill all out. You're just going to skim it along the top. And as you can see, beads get on there. Isn't this thing awesome? Can you imagine trying to scoop all these beads on there and literally just putting them in your hand and just slip them on the wire, oh my god, it would take you forever. I'm just really glad I bought this thing. And as I always do, I'm going to leave a link to all the supplies, and this will be on the supply list in the description box below. So this is what happens when you dig the needle in too deep. All the beads go everywhere. So you just want to skim the needle along the top. That's it. So once you have enough that you think it would wrap around the tassel 2 times, then you're going to start on your second piece. To finish off these 2 pieces, what you're going to do is you're going to put a little loop at the end, just like how you put a little loop at the beginning. You're going to do it at the end also. And what that does, obviously, is to make it so that the beads don't slide off. Once you have those done, you're going to grab your skeins of embroidery thread and you're going to grab your 2 triangles. And then you're supposed to put in 2 skeins per triangle. And that's what I'm doing here. Once you have those ready, what you're going to do is you're going to summon from the deepest parts of your being the patience that you might have in order to be able to twist these around this skein 3 times. It's really hard to do. It's not easy, but you can do it. If I could do it, you could do it. So all we have to do is wrap this around. Wrap this around 3 times, and then I'll show you how to finish it off once you do that. Just a little side note, just in case you were wondering about the thickness of the post. These fit my ears because I have gauged ears, but if you need it to be a little bit thinner, you can either use a Dremel to sand it down, or you can use a file. Then if you do that, a regular earring back would work and it will fit just fine. It only takes about 5 minutes to do. Just make sure that whatever's facing in the front is all straight, and make sure that you're not twisting in the wrong spot. So you want to twist in the back. As you can see, I didn't use all the beads. I just pushed them all the way to the back and pushed them out of the way because I'm not going to need them. If it's not tight enough on the skein of thread, there's no reason for it to be there. Now here's the part where I just twist it and try to twist it as tightly as I can so that it doesn't slip all over the place. Twist a good bit of wire to leave a nice tail. Now it should start to look like this. Once you twist it a good bit, it's okay to cut it off. Once you cut it, just dump the beads back where you got them from. Otherwise, they just get everywhere. If you feel inclined to do so, you could just grab a pair of pliers and twist a little bit more. I'm just at this point trying to get it as tight as possible because I don't want these beads to slip off. After I do that, I'm just going to take these pair of pliers here and I'm just going to grab that end and just work it around the rope of beads and just try to hide it, and then make sure it's not sticking out and scratch you later. And this is what it should look like. You don't see it too much, it's just stuck inside of all that thread. So now at this point, you could just pull off those pieces of paper that you have that ties it down. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the ends. And at this point, you can cut it to whatever length you want. I just wanted mine to be a little longer. And there you have it. Now all you have to do is repeat that for the next side. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe and you hit the bell notification, comment, share, whatever you want to do. Oh, and make sure you check out my other videos, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.